You left, but nothing stopped. I watched the place you stood become just another part of the street. No trace, no pause, no sign that anything changed. The city didn't react when you left, it simply continued doing what it always does. A bus passed like it had already forgotten your reflection in the glass. A traffic light changed color without asking permission for memory. Even the air didn't shift, like absence was just another normal condition here. After you leave, the city continues. No grief, just systems it reuses. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. After you leave, nothing breaks, only motion reshapes. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. A train arrives at the platform where you used to stand. Doors open like nothing was ever attached to that space. People step in without knowing they are continuing something you exited. A bench stays warm for a few seconds longer, then forgets everything completely. Even time refuses to acknowledge departure here, because departure is not an event, it's just another transition the city absorbs without interruption. After you leave, the city continues. No grief, just systems it reuses. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. After you leave, nothing breaks, only motion reshapes. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. Now that leaving doesn't create silence, it just shifts attention somewhere else. The city doesn't lose anything, it redistributes presence, and I am still inside it, just not where you were. And that feels less like loss and more like structure. Flows through the places nobody knows. Keep moving through the strain, through the quiet rain. After you leave, no end, just past that bend. Keep rolling through the dark, holding on to a spark. After you leave, one last line between your world and mine. Keep going, don't explain, the system starts again. And the city never pauses, even for goodbye. No sunrise yet. Only extended darkness. The night didn't feel like night anymore. It felt like a condition the city couldn't exit. Street lights stayed on longer than necessary, not because anyone needed them, but because turning them off felt unfamiliar. I walked through streets that had lost their sense of finishing. Every corner led to another corner. Every road felt like it had already been walked. A night forgets to end, we pretend it will break before it bends. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. When the night forgets to end, no star, just echoes in the dark. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. A train arrives without urgency. Doors open like they've done this 1,000 times before. Because they have. A man sits inside staring at a reflection that doesn't change anymore. Not tired, not awake, just continuing. Even the station feels unsure whether it's still operating or just remembering how to operate. A vending machine blinks, a camera rotates, a speaker hums with no announcement. Everything continues mechanically, but meaning has stopped updating. When the night forgets to end, we pretend it will break before it bends. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. When the night forgets to end, no star, just echoes in the dark. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. I realize the night is not refusing to end. It just no longer recognizes morning as an instruction. So it continues by default, and I continue with it. Because stopping feels like stepping outside of something I've already become part of. The city doesn't need to explain itself anymore, and neither do I. When the night forgets to end, still flows through forgotten city roads. Keep moving through the strain, through the quiet rain. When the night forgets to end, no name, just motion without aim. Keep rolling through the dark, holding on to a spark. When the night forgets to end, one last line between your world and mine. Keep going, don't explain. The night begins again, and still no morning. Only continuation. Static in the air. The city loses focus. There's a moment when every signal in the city starts to feel uncertain. Street lights flicker like they're forgetting the job. Phones struggle to connect to anything that matters. Even footsteps sound delayed, like reality is buffering. I stood at the edge of an intersection, watching everything hesitate. Cars paused longer than usual. People looked up more than they looked forward. A billboard froze mid-animation, and for a second, the city didn't know what to do with itself. It didn't stop. It just forgot its rhythm. When the signal breaks, nothing shakes, but everything still aches. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. When the signal breaks, no sound, just lost frequency all around. Keep walking through the dark, 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 holding on to a spark. A train entered the station, but its announcement came too late. Doors open before the sound arrived, like time had split into layers that no longer agreed. A security camera rotated slowly, not watching anything in particular, just performing motion without purpose. A man checked his phone 3 times in 10 seconds, still no connection, still no answer. The city continued behaving like everything was normal, but nothing matched anything anymore. When the signal breaks, nothing shakes, but everything still aches. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. When the signal breaks, no sound, just lost frequency all around. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. To notice how fragile coordination really is, how everything depends on invisible agreements, timetables, signals, expectations. Once those loosen, the city doesn't collapse, it just becomes unfamiliar, like a place you've lived your whole life suddenly speaking a different language. I kept walking anyway, because even broken systems still move forward, just less predictably. When the signal breaks, still flows through the places nobody knows. Keep moving through the strain, through the quiet rain. When the signal breaks, no end, just the paths it bends. Keep rolling through the dark, holding on to a spark. When the signal breaks, one last line between your world and mine. Keep going, don't explain. The signal comes again, 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 again. Static fades slowly, but never fully disappears. No ending, only change. No, the city never really stops. It just changes its form when you stop looking directly at it. A street that was empty 5 minutes ago is suddenly full of motion. A corner that felt alive turns quiet without warning. Nothing disappears, it just repositions itself. I walk through districts that felt like they were breathing in slow cycles. Buildings exhaling light through windows, roads inhaling traffic and releasing silence. A bus passed like a thought that didn't stay long enough to become memory. And I realized the city is not static, it's always rewriting itself in real time. The city doesn't end, it transforms through the silence and the storms. Keep moving through the night, under fading light. The city doesn't end, just bends through beginnings and dead ends. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. I passed a laundromat glowing like a small universe of repetition, clothes turning in circles like unfinished stories. A train arrived somewhere I wasn't standing, but I could feel it passing through the ground beneath me. A neon sign flickered like it was remembering something it forgot, then remembering again. Nothing here is final, everything is temporary structure. Even emptiness is just a phase between two movements. The city teaches this without speaking, just by continuing. The city doesn't end, it transforms through the silence and the storms. Keep moving through the night. under fading light. The city doesn't end, just bends through beginnings and dead ends. Keep walking through the dark, holding on to a spark. I stopped trying to define what I was seeing, because every definition felt too small for something constantly shifting. The skyline wasn't a skyline, it was a process. The streets weren't paths, they were transitions. Even I wasn't the same person from one block to the next.